sell for you, and we're going to discuss how to do this in just a second. But it is much more likely that they are going to believe your customers who are more like them, right? They are more like them. And if your clients, if your prospects see somebody that they can relate to, they can relate with, and see that this other person has gotten the results that you're promising, it is much more likely that they're going to believe you and want to take you up on your offers if they believe other similarly situated people are getting to them. In other words, similarly situated to them, they're getting the results that they also want. Okay? So let's talk about implementing this. Generally, it is through testimonials and endorsements. Another word for this is social proof. All right? And essentially, you want your social proof, your testimonials, and your endorsements everywhere, okay? Everywhere, not just necessarily your sales pages, but also your websites, your email signatures, written materials that you may use in your business. If you're publishing books, I realize there's a lot of publishers on right now and authors on listening right now. Well, the first couple pages of your books should be loaded with client testimonials, with customer testimonials as well, okay? And I'll give you a few examples here. You essentially want to look anywhere your prospect may see and then put a testimonial or endorsement there, okay? So again, the reason I say that is I want you to take a very expansive view to that, because the fact of the matter is that your prospects might be finding you in all sorts of places. Maybe they're finding you on Twitter. Maybe they're finding you on Facebook. Maybe they're finding you on a Squidoo Lens. Maybe they're finding you at on a Google Plus page, right? And what I'm saying is that in all of these places, you should take the opportunity to drop testimonials here and there. All right? All right, so how do we go about getting testimonials? I know that that's a big question for you. Well, the first important thing is most of them, or at least for me, most of them come in spontaneously. And what I like to do is I sort of keep an eye on my Facebook and Twitter feeds, because many times that's where I will see them as well. So that's one place I want you to look at. Look for these sort of spontaneous testimonials about you and your products and your services when you're selling them. Now, the other thing is if you're out and about, say you're at a Rotary meeting, or you're at an event somewhere, or you're doing your day-to-day business, but one of your customers says something nice about your business, or about the results they have gotten, or any of that. If they just say something nice, I want you to ask if you could record them. In other words, re-say it, but record them on a video. All right? And that's one of the reasons why I believe, and I practice this myself, to always have a way to capture video with you wherever you go. Okay, wherever you go. And I myself use an iPhone. A couple things I want to say here too, that the reason I like videos for testimonials and endorsements like this is because it's sort of the highest form of an endorsement. Because from a video, you can extract a picture and audio. In other words, you don't have to just use the video. You can also have the testimonial transcribed and have it in written format, but it doesn't go in the opposite direction. In other words, you can't start with a written testimonial and make a video out of it, or an audio. Okay, that's one of the reasons why I say here, if you can get it on a video, then you can do so much more with it. All right, so first we talked about spontaneously getting people writing on Facebook and Twitter, and second, people essentially spontaneously saying nice things about your business or you or the results they're getting with using your products or services, and getting and then asking at that point to videotape them re-saying that. And then the third way is to simply ask customers for their results. Ask. I'm a big believer in just simply asking. All right, and you will get some hits. You will get responses. Okay, and I just showing you some examples here that have come through for me on Facebook, and these are just quick examples here. If you kind of go through, I just wanted to say a huge thank you for all your seminars, tips, and publishing. Have an office day. Then you have other folks chiming in. Sydney, me too. Amanda, ditto. I wouldn't be this far without you, Daniel. Blah blah blah. So again, good stuff that just springs to life if you believe in what you're doing, okay, and your stuff is good, right? All right. All right. So here's yet another one from Dr. Sharon Johnson. All right. Now I do want to say this too. Also, when we're talking about the getting and obtaining testimonials for use in your business, always ask for permission before using them. Okay, ask for permission before you do a screen cap off of Facebook, for example. Okay, and even though it's arguable that you could use it regardless, you don't want to make your clients that said these nice things, you don't want to sour them on you. So just ask and abide by what they say. I have yet to have somebody say, no, I'm sorry, the thing I wrote on on Twitter you cannot use. I don't mean that anymore. Okay, so just do that. Also, I want you to review the Federal Trade Commission guidelines about endorsements. Okay. And if you Google FTC endorsement guidelines, they will come up, and they're really not too onerous. So I do want you to review them before using that. Okay, so that's strategy number one. And let me take this second here and check in. Can you all still hear me? Okay. Okay, cool. Okay, all right. So, I had some folks saying that you can't hear me. All right, cool. All right, so great. So that's strategy number two. Strategy number two. I'm sorry, that was strategy number one. Let's go on to strategy number two. To be the consultant. Be the consultant. In other words, don't sell, consult. All right. Now, of course, you're going to need to communicate the benefits of whatever it is that you are selling, whatever you want to exchange for money, okay? But you also must acknowledge who your products and services are not good for, okay? And essentially, you must relay all information necessary to make an informed, for them to make an informed decision. All right, and the reason why this works is that people know that, or they may know that you have good stuff, but they are, again, going back to, they're not yet convinced that even though you've got good stuff, that your stuff was actually going to work for them, whatever your product or service is. They say, okay, well, yeah, they have a good quality product, but I'm still not sure whether it's going to work for me. I'm a special case. I'm a special circumstance. And by the way, all of your clients, all of your customers, they all have special circumstances, okay? But you need to recognize that and address it as well, all right? And when you consult, that means discussing both the pros and the cons, okay, of what you're selling with your audience, whoever it is you're addressing your sales message to. And what happens is this. Now, some of you are saying, well, if I tell them, if I tell them both the pros and the cons, doesn't that mean I'm going to miss out on sales? Possibly, but guess what? Here's the thing. The sales that you get when somebody buys your product or service that it's not right for, you end up with an unhappy customer. They'll ask for refunds. They may go on a tirade and tell their community about whatever it is. So just be upfront with who this thing is for and who it's not for. And if you do that, okay, you will have much happier customers. You'll have a much easier business life, I can assure you of that. And you can also sleep well at night, all right? So very, very important. Now let's talk about implementing this. How do you implement being a consultant in your business? And again, there are lots of ways to skin this particular cat, but here's some ideas for you. You can, for example, add a FAQ, frequently asked questions, on your sales pages and your websites and your webinars or your Hangouts if you're doing them. Okay, that's a really, really good idea to do that. And I very frequently will put in FAQs even in my webinars. Okay, telling them if you live in Canada, for example, you may want to think about not doing this or whatever it is. You tell folks up front what the deal is so that they can make an informed decision. All right. The other thing that you could do, and I've taken to doing, is schedule Q&A hangouts or webinars for both prospects and clients to come and ask questions about it, about whatever it is that you're offering. And if you have an Apple store near you and you want to see this sort of consultative sort of sales in action, head over to an Apple store and just sit there and watch the interactions with the sales associates and the prospects, and you will see this sort of this consultative approach in action. And by the way, I mean, Apple is one of the most successful companies in history, and again, this has been something that I've noticed with them throughout. All right, so that is strategy number 2. Strategy number 2. Lawrence, did you want to say anything back on this before I mush off into strategy number 3?
Before you mush off. Okay, yes. Well, I need to add that to my vocabulary list there.
Yes, do that.
That's good. Yes, absolutely. This whole idea of being an expert that people come to and respect your opinion rather than them seeing you as a salesperson. And the other idea that you had, which is just really golden, and you all need to double underline this one, is that yes, you can pull all kinds of sleazy tricks or you can try to force people into buying something, but they're not going to be happy about it and they're not going to come back. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that people are, just like Daniel did at the very beginning of this webinar, he asked everyone, this is what I'm going to talk about tonight. These are the things that I'm going to cover. Is this something you're interested in listening and learning about? And so that's very, very important to make sure that your customer, your client, your prospect is someone who is going to be able to take advantage of the features and benefits of your product and service. Because it doesn't matter how whiz-bang it is, it doesn't matter how wonderful it is, or if 100 other people have done great things with it, if this particular person cannot take advantage of those options or those benefits, they're going to come back and say, hey, this thing doesn't work. Well, you might know it works, but for them it doesn't. So you do not want to have an unhappy customer. So those are just the two things I wanted to throw in there.
Okay, thank you so much for that, Lawrence. All right, and very good points. By the way, we're moving on to strategy number 3, and that is what I call disproportionate value. Okay, and here's the rub with this. It is so much easier for your prospect to make what I call a buy decision to buy your product or service, when the value they get is disproportionately greater than the money that they invest to get that value. Okay, and the thing about this is that your prospects are much more likely to buy something that they perceive as a good deal. And the better the deal it is the easier it is to get them to make what I call that buy decision. So how do we make this work? How do we take this strategy and actually play it out in our business? Well, I'll give you an example here. In implementing this, first off, you must clearly define every benefit that you get, that your clients get when they invest in your product or service. Okay, and it even goes so far as to say nuanced benefit. It's sort of the benefits of the benefit in a way. And you know, people throw this idea around. Sales copywriters will throw out the you gotta list the benefits and so forth. And I wanna put a finer point on this idea of communicating the benefit, because essentially what I mean when I say communicate the benefit is, what does the client, what does your prospect get? What result do they get in their life, in their business, by taking you up on your offer? Okay, because essentially that is what they are buying. They are buying a chance at a better life, at a more prosperous, abundant life, whatever it happens to be, right? That's essentially what you're selling, and what you need to communicate is that, right? That end result that your product or service can potentially create for them. Now, once you've sort of done this, then I want you to assign a realistic monetary value to each benefit your prospect gets when they take you up on your offer. Okay, and you could do this, by the way. You can communicate this value in sales pages, webinars, FAQs, and websites. And I have a graphic here to sort of show you what I'm talking about. And this actually came off my my friend Marlon Sanders, one of his pages, and I just really like the graphic for demonstrative purposes. And you can see here he's got, you know, the monetary prices of what you get, or what you would have to pay if you weren't taking him up on his product, okay, or taking him up on his offer to get his product. And this is the sort of thing I really want to bring home to you. And I really like the idea here too of adding all of those monetary figures up, and then showing folks the true value of what they get vis-a-vis what they would have to pay if they don't take you up on the offer. Okay, very, very important. All right, cool. So that's strategy number 3. Let's move on to strategy number 4, risk reversal. Here, people know that they are putting their money at risk anytime they buy something. Okay, here's the deal. Who here among us has not been ripped off? or something's been misrepresented to us, and we feel as though we've been taken. And I'm going to represent, and I really